Hello, everybody. My name is Laurie Baynard. I'm here to talk to you today about what it's like to be in the Coast Guard Band. Sorry I can't be with you in person, but I'm happy to be able to at least join you with this video, and I hope it's helpful information. So let me share my screen. Okay. I served in the United States Coast Guard Band in the years 2012. I started in the spring of 2012, and I left in the fall of 2017. And during that time, I started out as second flutist and became co-principal flute. And I was also the flutist for the flute and harp duo of the Coast Guard. So let's talk about some things about the Coast Guard. A little bit of my background information, my education. I have my bachelor's degree in music from Southern Wesleyan University in Central South Carolina. It's a tiny school with a great, I don't know, it's just a great program, great family unit. My master's degree is in flute performance from the University of Georgia, where I went to school with both Aaron and Emily. They were undergrad students when I was there. And I'm currently finishing up my doctorate degree right now in flute performance from the University of South Carolina. So I actually started pursuing that degree after I left the Coast Guard back in 2017. Again, I spent almost 6 years in the band, and it was just such an amazing time. For this particular premier band, there is no basic training. There is a 2-week in-dock training, which is what they call it, which is basically just where you learn the customs and courtesies of being in the military, how to conduct yourself, and also just how to wear the uniform and learning the different symbols and parts of the uniform and what everything means. A typical day or week for the Coast Guard band. We have a concert once a month in our home concert hall. It's called Leamy Auditorium. It's based at the Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. So we would have about a monthly concert with the occasional travel gig, maybe to like DC or Boston or New York. And then other smaller ensembles would travel a little bit more extensively. But one concert a month, and we would typically rehearse 2.5 hour rehearsal at a time, 4 days a week. And that would take usually about a week or two to rehearse and prepare for. I'd say the best part of the job, honestly, it was just the availability of time to practice and also to like really keep up on your training as far as like your instrument goes. So there was plenty of opportunity to take lessons with people in the area, which was really great. And also just the family unit. And that's the one thing I think of when it comes to the Coast Guard band. It's like we were a family. And there's so many close friendships made through that ensemble that I remember fondly. The worst part, honestly, not that it's really like a worst deal breaker thing, but just having to deal with some of the military side of things, which is just part of the job. For instance, the random surprise urinalysis when they're maybe like trying to find something, just having to go through things like that. It's kind of like, okay, all right, well, you just kind of have to take the good with the bad as far as that goes. But musically, I can't think of a struggle, just recognizing what the job is and what its mission is, helps you understand maybe what some of the goal of the music is for sure. As far as upcoming auditions, I don't believe there are currently any vacancies for it. I believe they just recently had an audition and filled that spot. So, but when the auditions do open, they are announced via Facebook, and I believe you can get that information by signing up for the Coast Guard Band newsletter. The audition process is pretty standard. A typical process that you would go through for like an orchestra or even another military band audition. It was a 3-round audition that happened over the course of 2 days. We used standard orchestral and band excerpts. I didn't have to do any particular piccolo excerpts on this exercise. I'm sorry, on this audition, because when I auditioned, as I said, it was originally for second flute. So there were no piccolo specific auditions. I did have to do sight reading, and there was a chamber music audition portion. And then the coolest thing for me was the personal interview at the end of the audition round. So whoever was in the runnings for the job, the semifinalists technically, or the final round candidates, were all interviewed just to get an idea of like your understanding of what a military band job is, any questions you have about serving, and also just making sure they are informing you to the best of their ability of what you would be getting yourself into in the event you were offered the job and you accepted. So that was all really helpful for me in taking that audition. All right. This band, again, as I've already stated, is permanently stationed in New London, Connecticut, at the Coast Guard Academy. So it's different from other premier bands in the Department of Defense. It is the only one that's part of the Homeland Security, and it is the only musical representation of the entire Coast Guard. So we literally are referred to like the mythical unicorns of the Coast Guard, because people that are stationed maybe on the West Coast in the Coast Guard rarely, if ever, get the chance to see a musician in the Coast Guard. There are 55 members in the bands. It is, again, it's the only band of the Coast Guard. So relocation is not a thing. There are 3 flute spots in the band, so 2 specifically for flute and 1 piccolo, just like an orchestra setup. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I have to offer about the Coast Guard Band. It's such a fun, unique organization. Again, I think it's just a different environment entirely from what would maybe be found in other premier bands. I think simply because of its location, we are out of the Washington, D.C. highlight, I guess. So we are able to have a little bit more flexibility and freedom in musically in what we do. So I believe that's some of what fostered the family aspect of things so much. Either way, if you ever get a chance to hear the Coast Guard Band or take an audition, I highly encourage you to do that. You will not be disappointed. It's a great, great organization and an amazing group of people. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. So I hope this information has helped you some. And yeah, I hope you enjoy your time with these other amazing flutists. I know they are phenomenal people, and I certainly enjoyed my time getting to know them when we were in school together. So hope you enjoy the rest of NFA.